Yeah. What's up? We doing it again. Live recording of Riffin with Griffin. Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to your absolutely favorite podcast. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Doing it live. And we strive. Stay alive. Riffin with Griffin. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. And I'm doing it live once again. Monday, September 6th. Noontime, here we are. Nobody's here yet in the chat, but we doing it. I just want to say thank you for being here. I want to talk about, I saw 10 Rings. We're going to talk about that and my love affair with Asian movies. We're going to talk about this fentanyl overdose of a couple of people that I know. What else we going to talk about? Riffin with Griffin. What else? Oh, and then I filmed a commercial, and I want to tell you about the technology that was on set at this commercial. So it was actually pretty amazing. So, also look out for that too. And we're all going to do all this right here live on Riffin with Griffin. As always, I'm here doing it, so sometimes I do it live because I was traveling and all this kind of stuff. So it's hard to get episodes together. And then I've been doing a lot of King and the Sting. I don't know if you guys have seen me on that. And so that takes up time, and then I'm starting this other podcast, and look out for that on September 15th. It's called Gen to Gen with my buddy, Matthew Espinoza. Oh man, you know what? I just realized I didn't get this ready. Wait, I'm doing this live. So for you people listening right now, thanks for being here. I appreciate that. For you people listening, you didn't listen live, but you're here, so I appreciate you guys being here for that. That's, you still the people that only like audio, and, I'm all about that too. So, you know what I mean? We do what we got to do when we do it. And so it is what it is. It is what it is, my friends. Hello, darkness, my old friends. That I don't know what to even say about that, but it like I say, it is what it is. So I went to New York. It's funny. I gotta do this live. I forgot to set up my screen capture, so if it sounds like I'm trying to stall, it's because that's exactly what I'm doing. But when you do it live, what are you supposed to do? Sometimes I hate being a one man show, but my guy Wiggy's out of town. He went to Seattle to visit his family. So he can't really be here for this part right here. So, but it is what it is. Like I say, but I can get it done. I'm doing it right now, and it's going to come out great. And we're all going to be like, oh, I can't believe Griff did that on the fly. Griff did that on the fly. Look how he did that. So yeah, let me see. Boom. Oh, no. This isn't the one I want. Hold up, guys. I got to fix it. It's this one. Yes. Okay. I did it. Okay, let me turn the auto live back on. Boom. All right, so then because I want to show you. Oops, not there. See, I'm completely messing up. And thank you, chat, for being here. I see all you guys. What's up, y'all? Good to thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. I always appreciate that. I saw somebody. I was in New York, and this after the show, this guy came up to me and he was like, "Yo, man, I really appreciate your podcast. It really helps me and got me through." And I was like, "Oh man, really? That's dope." You know what I mean? It's like when people say that kind of stuff to you, you think to yourself, "Damn, well, this is why I do it." You know what I mean? This is why I do it. So, because sometimes I feel like I don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? I feel like that if I'm just being honest with you guys. Sometimes, it's like you look at other podcasts, especially ones of my friends, and I'm like, wow, they're so big and successful. Am I ever going to be like that? And then I just feel like, you start to compare, and you really shouldn't do that. So, I stopped doing that. But anytime I sort of feel like that, the universe sends me somebody, and they're like, hey, somebody's like, I really enjoy your podcast. Please keep doing it. Or like, it really helps me or that kind of stuff. And I go, you know what? It is what it is. I'm doing, I'm doing what I need to do. You know what I mean? So that's like really, that's the thing that really makes me go, okay, I'm doing something right. So, all right, let me I'm trying to go to Instagram so I could talk about this new podcast that I'm doing. So you guys could see who I'm talking about. Where the hell is he? I can't ever find. This is why you have to have like a Jamie. You know what I mean? It's so annoying, dude. All right, here's the guy. So let's go back. Okay, so I'm doing this new podcast. It starts on September 15th, and it's with my dude. I've known him for like 8 years now. His name is Matthew Espinoza, guys. This is the dude, okay? He's got like a bunch of followers. He's big on YouTube. So it's called Gen to Gen. So he's a young guy going to teach the old guy about young guy stuff, and I'm going to teach him about old guy stuff. And we're going to have guests from different genres and different things like that. And, we're going to figure it out. And so look for that on September 15th, Gen to Gen, okay? All right, here we are. So you know what? Also, let me while I'm doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and tweet out that I'm live right now. You know what I mean? Let's do that. Boom. So I'm tweeting live, so we know what's going on. I know you people listening on like Spotify and Apple Music and all this kind of stuff. You guys are probably like, "What the hell is he doing? Why am I listening to him working on this stuff live?" But it is what it is. So we're here. All right. So I got some bad things to talk about, and I have some good things to talk about. Just how my mood is and how I get about certain things. But first thing, so I had a light week. Like I said, I went to New York, and it was crazy because my flight was canceled because of this major floods that happened in New York. I know did you guys see some of the imagery from the floods in New York? I mean, it was like Armageddon. I didn't even know what to think about that stuff that was going on in New York. They were talking about the subways were flooded and that kind of stuff. It was actually pretty bananas. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was, you look at this from 3 days ago, 46 dead. This is like some crazy, that's some crazy stuff going on right there. Look at all that stuff. Like, look at that one right there. Like the cars are underwater. The streets were flooded. The subways were flooded. They were showing like the subways being all flooded. It was crazy. Look at that. Can you see it good? There you go. I was like, damn, this is crazy. And so then the flight was canceled. I was supposed to go in on a red eye so I could do some press in the morning time, that's what I'm going to talk about later. Press in the morning time. And then it was, so I got on an early morning flight, and then I flew into New York. And as we're flying in, the captain's like, it's a beautiful day in New York, 75 degrees. And I was like, damn. I was like, damn, what happened? I thought there was like floods and stuff, And thank you for the super chats, guys. I just saw them right now. Ken, thank you, Ken, and thank you, Andre or Adri or whoever that is, and for you people that are like, again, listening, you got to listen, you got to check me out when I'm doing it live so you can support the show, And guys, please also please check out my Patreon. I'm gonna start doing more things on the Patreon. I know I keep saying this, but I'm thinking about doing like a morning or evening kind of like quick, it's like 10, 15 minutes, like, hey, this is what's going on today, kind of thoughts from Griffin. Daily, not daily, but maybe like 3 times a week on Patreon. And then like a higher tier is going to be like, if you want to play video games with me, Erik Griffin on my Twitch channel, Erik Griffin Gaming, I'm gonna start doing a tier. I'm gonna make that tier for that. So look out for that. So if you want to support me on Patreon, please check that out. So anyways, I get into New York and it's like a beautiful damn day. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, well, what happened to what happened to this? Like, I thought the way it was looking on TV, the way it was looking on the commercials, man, I needed to build an ark and start collecting animals. That's what it looked like in New York, but it actually turned out to be. But then my show was terrible. I think with this, they just did this mask mandate now in New York. So a lot of the places, not masks, vaccine mandate. So it's like you can't get in unless you're vaccinated. And then you can't, and then you had the floods, and then people are still uncertain about what's going on with this Delta variant and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not a huge, I guess, New York's a tough sell. All right. I just want to let you know it's a tough sell because I think it's a huge metropolitan city. There's so much stuff going on. The club I was at, Caroline's, literally a half a block up the street, Hugh Jackman was doing a play. So it's like, that's where it's right on Broadway. So you're just like, I'm not that draw. Like if I was at, say, the Cellar with like 7 or 8 other comics, if you're in town, if you live there, you could be like, oh, I can go see Erik Griffin and I could see these other people too. And there's a chance that there's some huge pop in as opposed to coming to watch me for an hour. In a city like that, it's different because there's so many clubs. There's like 8 clubs. And it's like, so unless you're like a huge draw, it's hard to get like fill the comedy club up, You know what I mean? And it's like, and I tried too. I paid for an Instagram ad. I did all these things, man. And it's just like, I don't know. It's an ego shot. I'll tell you that right now. Every week is different. So next week I'm going to be in Denver. So look out for me there. I'll be in Denver Comedy Works actually this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you're in the Denver area, please check me out there. I'll be at the Denver Comedy Works. Denver Comedy Works, I guess this is a good time to even do my own commercial for myself, right? I should be like, hey, come check me out. Yeah, I should talk about this more. Even if you're listening to this later, you can go to my schedule at erikgriffin.com/schedule. I'm still working on this dumb website, But there you go, guys. I just did Caroline's. I'm going to be at the Denver Comedy Works 9th through the 11th. Then I'm coming to Boston the 23rd through the 25th, Addison Improv. So look, those are some of my dates right there. So make sure you guys check that out. So, but I know Denver is going to be a lot better because it's more of a comedy town and they're used to like, you only watch one comic. It's not a showcase type of thing on the weekend. So, that is what it is. So, all right, good things first. I did this IBM commercial. I haven't done a commercial in a while, but I've actually, I booked this commercial. I did it and it was the craziest thing. Like the commercial shoot was like, It was a weird, like, I'm trying to look at the chat too, guys. Let me actually pop the chat out so I can look at it like full screen. There we go. Now I have it right here on the screen. There we go. So, I got Texas dates coming up. The Addison Improv, 1st through the 3rd in October. So you get on set. And then I'm looking at the schedule. Now, I've done commercials before. And even when you do like one scene in a commercial or whatever the commercial, that little moment in the commercial is, it usually takes all day to shoot. So they were actually doing 3 commercials in one day, like right at this one location. So I was like, wow, this is like a really intense, it's probably going to be real quick. So when I finally get on set, like, getting dressed, everything that it takes, like that's the longest part of the day is getting yourself ready to go. So then I get on set, right? And the what do you call it? We finally get on set and then there's like a robot, okay? There's like this robot camera that is the thing. And this isn't the actual thing, but this is sort of what it looked like, okay? I'm going to show you right now. This is sort of what it looked like. It looked like that thing right there. Okay, see that? It was like the camera was connected to this robot arm and there was one guy behind a computer just like looks on the screen, but the camera wasn't even like that. The camera was like a long cylinder tube, like a really, like it looked like what the alien, like if somebody said they got attacked by alien, they got kidnapped by aliens, this is the thing they would use. That's what it looked like, because it looked like an anal probe, like a long, okay? So it had this long camera and then they were setting up. So the guy was like, all right, this is position 1. He put something in the camera, boom, 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 in the computer, and then it was like, this is position 2, and then they whipped it around, and it was like, I had to like hold the phone up. It was like in the commercial, I'm holding a phone, and then it pulls away from the phone, and I say some lines, you know what I mean? And, and that's how they did it. So then when we started going, man, we did like 17 takes like this. It was like action, then we did it, and and then the guy was like, all right, position 1 again, and the camera went back, and then it was like we did it over and over and over again. It was called a Cobra. The name of the camera, the setup was a Cobra, and I thought to myself, what my first thought was? There goes somebody's job. Like, I just thought, well, there it is right there. Here's technology, like making people that want to be in the entertainment business. Like if you ever wanted to be a camera guy. So now they only had 2 guys working. Now, usually they have there'll be 3 people working a camera. You got the lens person, you got and then there's a focus guy. So they still had the focus guy. So there's always somebody who's looking at, they have a little, an iPad looking type thing. And they got this little focus wheel on it. And as the camera moves, this person is keeping everything in focus. I mean, that's standard on any set. And I feel like that guy's they're going to take him out eventually too. But it was so then there was no, usually also when you do a scene in a movie or TV show or whatever, and say there's camera movement, so the camera, the people move in and then they go, okay, back to 1. And that's usually what takes a long time. The back to 1 is everybody's got to move the camera and, these 3 people are helping the camera guy and everybody's moving into place and then they have to get all set up again. And that usually what takes forever. With this thing, it was back to 1 and the thing was boom, and it was ready to go. And then they were like, okay, action. And so we got way more done faster. But at the same time, I was like, damn, there goes people's jobs, man. You know what I mean? I was like, it was and then the thing though was and like you said, I see in chat, somebody says they can recreate the shot perfectly. And it's yes. So on one side, I see the benefit. It's you got this thing that can just bow, 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 right? Here's the perfect angle we need, or there's some particular shot you want. And then the thing can move in different angles and it could be you could get all kinds of different things and then it can do it and then it can recreate it exactly. So that part of it's great. And the other side of it is well, damn, what if you always wanted to work a camera? Because there are people, sometimes I ask somebody on set and I go, hey, do you have aspirations to be the guy holding the camera or do you want to do that? And a lot of times you see people go no, I love this. I love working with the lenses and, and being a part of the team like that. And you just go, damn, they're going to be, this is the future is happening right now. Even when you think about doing sitcoms and they have these 3 camera sitcoms, I have a feeling that the future is going to be the director is actually going to be sitting at the computer terminal with somebody working the computer terminal and they're going to be okay, action. And then the cameras are going to do predetermined things and movements. And then, there's not going to be this whole crew of people working the cameras. So I don't know, man. It was pretty wild, man. It was pretty, I was like, damn, this is, the future is here. You know what I'm saying? The future is here. All right. So actually, before I go on with what I'm going to talk about next is, this is actually a pretty important topic I'm going to talk about next. So, and this actually works out perfectly for this week because this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/Griffin for the discount. But I do want to talk about therapy and getting professional help. It's important. I stand by therapy, but one of the things that you have to understand is therapy is not going to solve your problems. And this is a really important point, all right? It's not going to solve your problems, and you may not even feel better. If that's the point of you going to therapy and you think, well, I'm not going to feel better and they're not going to solve. No, because that's not really the point. The point of therapy is to help you pinpoint why you feel the way you feel and help you attack that. Help you to find some coping mechanisms to further, make your life better and more fulfilled because we have these things that are holding us back. There's a lot of things that hold back happiness and there's so many things, man. There's depression, stress, anxiety. You have anger, you have family conflicts. You might have trauma. You might, you have trouble sleeping, self-esteem issues. And, you need to talk to somebody, and BetterHelp is a great service for this. It's convenient. It's professional. There's so many people that are now joining BetterHelp. They've added 50 million new therapists, and it's not self-help. This is a licensed therapist in a comfortable environment in front of your computer at your home or wherever you can find a quiet location. And I really do highly recommend it because so many people out there are struggling. Over the last 2 years, the world has gone upside down and we're struggling with it. Not everyone is handling it. And even the people that you think you're handling it, we were already holding on by a thread. And then we added this this global pandemic that just pushed us over the edge. And you might have trouble with ways to figure out how to cope with this. And people are turning to alcohol and drugs. And I'm just suggesting, if you're feeling what you're feeling a certain way, please reach out and get some help. And BetterHelp is a great way to do that too. So look, I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/Griffin. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Griffin for 10% off your first month. Start living a better life today. All right? Okay. All right, guys. I want to talk about something tough to talk about right now. Okay? So, wait, let me take this off the screen right now. There we go. All right, guys. So over the last couple days, when I was in New York, I found out that some people that I know, this comic Fuquan Johnson and like 2 other people, one of the other one I know, Rico. The thing is, I actually helped my friend. I directed a comedy sketch, like a little 5-minute comedy sketch, and I wanted to get into directing. So I said, hey, I'll direct it for you. And 2 of these people were in it, and now they're both dead. You know, they're both freaking dead. You know, so the story is about 2 others die in a possible fentanyl overdose. It's a fentanyl overdose, you know, and I don't even know what the hell fentanyl was. So I even I needed to look that up, you know, like fentanyl, some sort of synthetic, you know, so a synthetic opioid, you know, and it's super powerful, and people are ODing on this all the time. And, you know, it's like, how does fentanyl affect your brain? You know, you have extreme happiness, drowsiness, nausea, confusion, constipation, sedation, problems breathing, unconsciousness. Like, I don't get it. Like, personally, I've never taken any kind of drugs like this. And so I don't understand the point, because it doesn't seem like there's anything good about this, you know? And then people overdose on this thing all the time. And apparently it's happening more frequently than they're even talking about. They put it with cocaine and or other drugs, and then it's like, if you have too much or a bad batch, this is what happens. So apparently these 4 people, and one of my other friends is in the hospital still, and who knows if she's gonna like be the same, you know? And how do I feel about this? You know, I'm triggered by this because I have someone in my life who's an addict, you know, and so this is just I'm gonna give you my initial thoughts. What of it was, I couldn't be sad. I'm actually mad. I was actually furious about this. You know, it makes me angry to think that people are still overdosing on drugs. It's amazing to me that the people that do drugs frequently think that they're going to be the ones that are going to beat drugs. Like, oh, well, that happened to those people. It's not going to happen to me. And when you see that, and then when it happens, you kind of go, I remember when that dude from Glee died. The dude from Glee died of a heroin overdose in a hotel room at a party or something like that. And it made me so mad to think, like, I hope that all those people that were there just kind of like, oh, yeah, this is what the life is. I hope they're still suffering. I hope they're still thinking about it. Because it's like, damn. And it's not their responsibility. You know, it's just a layered issue. Because it's like, you know, I'm talking about you have to have some personal responsibility, you know. But it's like, that's why I don't even like being around this kind of stuff, because I would take responsibility. Like, sometimes I don't like hanging around people that like to get drunk and stuff, because let's say you're out at a bar, or you're at a bar with your buddies, and I'm not drinking, and then everybody else is drinking, and then I see one of my friends who he has his car keys and he wants to drive, and I'm kind of like, well, it's not my responsibility. I just check out, and then my friend goes and kills 6 people because he was drunk driving. There's going to be something in me that's going to be like, damn, maybe I should have done something. So I don't even want to put myself in that position. I don't even want to put myself in that position. So it's like, because then it's like, I would feel like I'm responsible. I'd feel like, damn, I should have done something. And it's like, so I don't like that. You know what I mean? It's like, so I heard about this and I was just like, and these people, you know, they did drugs. That wasn't the first, like, I'd feel sad if it was like, you know, you hear about somebody who went to a party and for the first time they were like, I'll try cocaine. And then, you know, they tried it for the first time and then they die. I mean, that would make me feel like, well, that's sad. And I would be furious at those people who, like, why would you give somebody who's never done cocaine? Whatever, that's just my rationale about it, But then when you hear about people who, like, were frequently doing drugs all the time, I knew about these guys. I don't hang out with them because of it. I don't hang out with these people. I never did. I don't like being in places where people think it's okay to get drunk and do drugs. That's just not my thing. And then this happened. You're not getting cocaine and fentanyl from CVS and there's an FDA approval of it. And that's a whole other discussion. It's like, should drugs be legal so then we can, like, make sure that people aren't getting a bad batch? Because here's the thing. These guys took one line and then, like, they died. So it's like whoever this drug dealer is who has a bad batch of drugs that he's selling or she is selling to, like, people. There could be other people out there right now. There could be other families that are shattered and ruined because some guy's just, making money and selling some bad stuff. So we don't even know. I mean, there could be an investigation and we found out later that 20 people are dead from this batch of cocaine fentanyl mix. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so when you're somebody that thinks like, oh, I'm okay with drugs, it's not going to happen to me, or I'm good, or like whatever your thing is, you don't know what these people don't care about your health and safety. They only care about money. Now, listen, addiction is tough. Addiction is tough. That shit gets a hold of you and you have no control over it. You really have no control over it. And that's part of the problem too. It's not an excuse. It just is what it is, because it's easy to say, like, it's easy for someone like me who's never taken drugs to be like, man, that's not going to happen to me, because I have control of myself in that way. I'm never going to put myself in that position, and it's like, but some people who are like now, they're so far in and they're an addict. But this is what I was saying about getting therapy and help. If you are someone that, like, you have to self-medicate because you have no other recourse. A lot of these people who, like, get hooked on drugs, the people that I know, it's like, damn, they got other stuff going on. They got these issues that they can't handle, they can't manage. They got no other coping mechanism, so they self-medicate. Some other people, it just starts with, like, they just party. They got impulse control problems. They just like, I like to party. I like to be a free spirit. And they just like to go out and do their thing. And then sometimes bad things happen there too. And so there's no right or wrong way. There's no, like, set laws. There's no, like, this is what happens. If you do A, B will happen. You never know. But the thing is like, to stay away from that kind of stuff altogether. I mean, yeah, that's the best course of action. But I know not everybody's going to do that. Look, and there's a difference between people who are just like, I like to party. Because I know people like that. I know people who are productive members of society. They go out on a Friday night. They get blasted because they're having fun. And then, they're fine. They just go, oh, I'm never going to do that again. It's not like a regular thing. They're not addicted to it. There's different levels of this, man. But even someone like that, you're like, I did some cocaine at a thing. I was at a party. And it's like, you never know. What I'm saying is you just never know. Here's somebody out here selling some shit that's killing people, man. And it's like, it's like lives are now irreparably damaged. Irreparable. I don't know how to say the damn word. You know the word I'm trying to say. I'm upset right now. So you just never know. You just never know. And so I don't know how to feel, man. I initially, I was just like really upset at them, and I was mad at them. I really was. I really just was like, damn, like, what are you doing? It's like, why did you think that you were going to be the one that this was going to be, like, not going to hit? Why did you think that, oh yeah, I got, we're good. I'm a professional drug user type of attitude. And now 3 people are dead. They're dead. Their families are just crushed, all because of choices. So it's tough. It's tough. It's tough, and I don't know how to feel about it. Because when you look up these statistics about fentanyl, apparently this is like, people are now coming out with their stories. Now I know so many people who are like, yeah, I know 4 people who died of this. Wiggy was on the episode last week talking about his 2 friends that overdosed. I had to ask him if that was that fentanyl related? I mean, we're talking about, damn it, I just think about that. 2 weeks in a row now, 5 people are dead from drug overdose. And it's the same kind of thing. They're waking up and people are finding them dead. Other people are finding them dead the next day. And this is like some kind of thing that's just going around. And man, look, I know you're dealing with stuff. I know people are struggling, and I know it's a hard subject to talk about. And I'm just really sharing my feelings about this right now. You know, it's my podcast. This is my world, so I can, you know, this is what I do. Maybe some of you feel the same way as I do, and maybe some of you don't. Maybe you guys are in the comments like going off because you're not hearing what I'm really saying, or you're translating this to what you want it to mean, so you can like be a fucking asshole in the comments. I get it. You know what I mean? At this point, I've done this long enough now to get people's motivation for being a dickhead in the comments. You know what I mean? I get that. Do you? All right. But for the rest of you, we're just trying to think about our feelings in a vulnerable way. And it's like, this is like been going on for so long now that it's like, damn, you know, we kind of let things go, you know, like people have been overdosing for 100 years, maybe longer. Who knows? I'm just saying, you know, all my life, people are overdosing. And, you know, when it doesn't touch you, you kind of go, well, whatever, you know, or you just don't think about it, or you don't think like, man, is this like a serious problem? And now here is like, I'm 1 degree away. And I, you know, from people now, 5 people are dead in my immediate circle of friends. You know, someone I know knows people, or I know the people. And I don't know what we're going to do as a society or to like, you know, fix this problem. You know, this fentanyl is like, this sucker's crazy, man, because, you know, they got to throw the book at these people that are selling fentanyl and making it and, you know, cutting it together with other things. And they're not scientists. You know, this ain't Breaking Bad. You don't got some chemistry teacher who's like, you know what? We got to put just this amount because if we don't, it's going to kill people. These motherfuckers are just trying to make stacks. They don't care. They literally don't care about you. All they care about is your money. And, you know, and they're out there accessory to murder. That's what it is. You know, and for what? For what? You know, you people that have done drugs, is it worth it? Like, is that feeling you feel worth it? I mean, you tell me, you know, what do I know? You know, if you think it's worth it, it's like, I don't get it. Because to me, I hear more stories about this than anything else. I hear more stories about people who are now, because when you're an addict, you're always an addict. So like, you know, now you're an addict and now you're fighting this addiction, and then your whole life is, and people in your life now have to be dealing with your bullshit. I hate it. You know, I hate it. And so when I think about these people that have died, I want to feel sorry and sad, but I feel sad for their families, but I'm mad at them. I am. It makes me mad. I just feel like, what did you do? And why? And look, you know? And I see people in the chat. I know it. It's like, it's hard to like, look, it's like the excuse of these people are an addict. It's hard to stop. Okay, I get that. You know, but I also have a valid feeling of like, man, fuck off. Like, look what you did. You know, like, look, you know, it's like, it's just such a tough thing. It's such a tough subject. It's such a tough thing to deal with. And I don't know, my heart goes out to all the people that were affected by this, and anybody else that's dealing with addiction personally, or if you're dealing with it in your family. I really hope that you can heal and get some help. Everybody that's involved, because take it from me as a person who is like a family member of someone, this is hard. It's hard, man. That's why I get triggered when I hear these kinds of things. Some people instantly are like, oh my God, I'm so sad for them. And, you know, not me, you know, because I get triggered because I've been there. I've been in the middle of it where I know someone's making a choice and they can make a different choice. And then how sucky it is that now as the loved one, you got to be the one to make hard choices. That's the thing that pisses me off. That's what makes me resentful. You know, it's like, let me tell you something. When you love someone, you have a loved one and you love them, okay? And then people tell you, and the person's an addict. And then everyone around you says bullshit like, you know, you got to cut him off. You know, you got to kick them out. You got to cut them off. You got to let them hit rock bottom. Oh, so easy to say that. It's so easy to be like, oh yeah, let me just cut off this person that I love deeply. Let me just put this person out on the street. Or let me just be like, you know what? I wash my hands of this person that I love deeply, you know? And then like something happens to them and you act like I'm going to be like, well, you know, I tried. No, man, that's hard too. It's hard being in the person that's dealing with somebody that you care about that's an addict. Shit is hard, man. It's hard. It's so easy for other people to be like, cut them off, or, you know, you got to do this. But now I know you do have to do that. And I'm acknowledging how hard it was. I had to work up to being a point of being like, I'm not giving you money. I'm not doing this. You know, I don't want to deal with your nonsense anymore. If you want this relationship, you have to, like, you know, you know how much it takes you to get to that point, and then you become resentful, man. You resentful because it's like, why do I have to be the bigger person? Why do I have to be the one that has to, like, you know, deal with all this stuff? And you just have all these feelings, you know, and then your boundaries are challenged. And that's the thing, man. It's about boundary issues. And it's just, anyway, my point is the whole thing is tough. The whole thing is tough to deal with. You know, it's just tough. And it's like, what are we going to do as a society to help curb this? It's like, because there's so many layered issues. Like, again, let's go over it. Like, one, it's like you're making the drugs illegal and ain't doing shit. Okay. You ain't doing nothing to help stop the drug problem. So, okay, my feeling is, and this is just my feeling, make the drugs legal and then freaking organize it. You're still going to have the illegal ones, but now you make it harder for them to do it because, you know, you should be able to go to CVS. Yeah, let me get that cocaine. Let me get an Arizona iced tea and that cocaine fentanyl. You know what I mean? And then, but this is a kind of mix, you know, it's not going to kill you. And then we could track it. And then we could be like, okay. And then that money, there should be like sin tax on it. And then that money is going towards drug rehab, drug help, you know, the hospitals and all that kind of stuff to, like, you know, because it's like these people are going to do this anyway. So, like, what, you know, let's benefit from it as a society to, like, help people that want to get off the stuff. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know. That's just my thought. You know what I mean? You know, look, I'm not running for office. You know, so I don't know. Say what you will about it on your own. You know, whatever you think. I'm just giving my thoughts about it. So, you know, you have that side of it, and then you have the side of it that's like, you know, it's an addiction. It becomes an addiction, and people, like, you know, they selling their mama's TV to get the drugs. So, you know, there's an issue there. How do you stop that? I don't think making drugs illegal is stopping that. I think it's just that issue is still going to happen. So therapy, I think, is another thing too that's important for all of us. I think we got to get this stigma off of therapy where people think that therapy is like, you know, man, do you know how great it is? Like, don't you have a friend that you've ever talked to, and once you did that talking, you instantly started to feel better, or you worked something out? I'm telling you, the problem with talking is having to care about the other person's feelings. All right. That is why it becomes hard to talk to someone. So, like, in a relationship, you love this person, and it's hard to be like, yo, you're doing something that's getting on my nerves, or I'm feeling this way. I'm having some personal feelings about this, without that other person now bringing their own feelings into it. Like, oh, is that because of me? Or translating it. And it's like, they think it's like, oh, well, now you're making me feel like I did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, when you're talking to your girl or your guy, and it's like, you just want to get some shit out, and they making it about them. That's what happens when you know the person that you're talking to. You know, let me tell you, when you go to a therapist, you don't have to give a fuck about this person's feelings. And I think that's great. This is just somebody you can bounce ideas off of. And they are a professional. They will be able to be like, oh, you know what? I'm pinpointing some things that I recognize this pattern, and it could be because of this. And then you could take that information and do what you want with it, right? But the fact that you don't have to worry about this person's feelings, like letting their feelings get into your recipe, into your soup, that's helpful. That is a super helpful thing. So, I don't know. Man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this anymore. It is what it is. But like I say again, guys, betterhelp.com/Griffin. If you're on the fence about getting therapy, Please, I'm telling you, if you have insurance, get it. There's also some cheaper alternatives out there. Get it. Look for it. All right. Enough with that fun stuff now. Fun and some serious topics too about it too. So I went to a movie in New York for the first time, and I haven't been to a movie in like over a year. It was like almost 2 years, I think. It was like even before March of 2000. It was like a year and a half, maybe a year and 6 months. I have not been to a movie. And I used to go to movies all the time, man. I love to go. That's my thing, especially going on the road. I love going to movies. So I couldn't go to movies. And then the COVID, you couldn't go to movies. So it was like, what the hell, So I went to a movie. So I saw the Shang-Chi, or I don't know how to say it. You know what I mean? I hate when they have names like this because then you feel like you're racist if you can't say it right. Legend of the Ten Rings. And this is part of the MCU Marvel Universe. This is like phase 4 of the Marvel Universe. So this is no Captain America, no Iron Man, but what's going, and then the externals or internal with the Eternals is coming out. And I love the trailers for that movie, man. But I want to tell you about this movie. I thought this movie was fantastic. Okay. I really, really enjoyed this movie. I'm trying not to do no spoiler alerts, spoilers. I'm not going to take, but I just liked it. I liked the fighting. I liked the story. I thought the people, some of the acting was a little corny, but it was still very good. I believed everybody. I believed them. It was like the main star. I'm not going to even try to butcher their names. Aquafina was funny. Michelle Yeoh, she's great. Yeah, she's always in those kung fu movies. She's great. Like Michelle Yeoh is great. She's like, now she's like older, so now she's like this. She's always like the old sage kung fu woman. You know what I mean? She's like an old grandma, kung fu grandma. So I really like her. But this was like, I'm telling you, this was a really great movie. I thought it was great. And then, of course, you got to wait to the end. You have to watch the trailer. You have to watch the credits. They got those Marvel end scenes that kind of tease some stuff that's going on, so you know that it's in the Marvel universe. But, Ten Rings is about, like, it's just like the Infinity Stones. The 10 Rings are this powerful magic thing that, this guy's had for 1,000 years, and he's kept him alive, and he's like, he's just like this warlord, and power corrupts, and you find out his story, and he falls in love, and he has some kids, and it's just a story of living up to your father's expectations, living your own self, and there's a lot of concepts and things that go on in this movie that I think are like, it was really good. And just overall, it's just a good action movie too. And I thought it was a good Marvel movie. I thought that this is like, all right, I can't wait to see him with the Hulk or whoever is going to be in the Marvel universe. I can't wait to see like how that plays itself out. So, look out for that. I give this a thumbs up. And go watch this movie, especially if you're a Marvel Universe nerd. I mean, there are worse movies in the Marvel Universe that are important to the Marvel story. I mean, if you think about it, there were 22 movies that led up to Endgame. And not all of them were good. Like, that first Captain America was not good. That second Thor was not good. I mean, the list goes on and on. And some of the Avengers of Age of Ultron, get rid of that one. Iron Man 3. Like, let me just talk about something real quick. Iron Man 3. You know what don't make any sense to me? Like, I think Iron Man 3, you have to take it completely out of the lexicon. Because you know why? In Iron Man 3, there was that power that could heal people. Like, that would be very useful in moving in the MCU. Like, that little power that was in Iron Man 3 could have healed Tony Stark. Like, what happened to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, when he used the stones, that power should have healed him and he would have been fine. And I hate knowing that knowledge that was in there. That was in there. Like, I see somebody in the comments talking about Thor number 3. Thor number 3 was terrible. Okay, the Dark Elves one or whatever. No, that's the one I'm talking about. Oh yeah, that one was terrible. I didn't like that, but it was necessary for the story. This is what I'm trying to say. As a collective, the 22 movies made Endgame and Infinity War fantastic. So this is one of those movies that's going to be in a new set of movies that's going to lead up to something. But this one was pretty good. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Now, let me talk about the controversial part of or this is not even controversial, but this is just my thoughts, guys. My thoughts. I'm speaking for me. I ain't speaking for you. I'm not speaking for a collective. I'm speaking for me. There was a lot of, we're on the heels now of Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate. Stop Asian Hate became the new thing. And so this movie comes out, and then there's this feeling of well, people aren't going to like this because it's all Asian, or this kind of sentiment was being put out there. And I call bullshit. This was much to do about nothing, in my opinion. All right. Asian movies are great, and they've been great for 50 years. Okay. Bruce Lee is one of the most beloved action hero stars of all time. The motherfucker is dead. He been dead for years, and we still talk about Bruce Lee. Okay. When I was a kid, they had this thing, and listen, talking about cultural appropriation and the way things are portrayed to the white masses, or the you know what I mean? And when I say white masses, I mean it's for white television, but we all were watching it. If black belt theater is insulting, I'm sorry, okay? My apologies, but I never once thought about, oh, these are all Asian? This ain't right. No. I always was ooh, this is great. The Five Deadly Venoms, the Shaolin Masters. There's so many great Asian starring movies. These people weren't even speaking English in the movie, and you still was this is amazing. Kung Fu, you add Kung Fu to anything, and it becomes amazing. So this idea that we're anti-Asian, or that, don't put me in that, because you just doing that because you want to hear yourself talk. I can't stand that, because this is ridiculous to me, man. Jet Li. I used to buy every single Jet Li DVD. That's how much I loved Jet Li. Romeo Must Die. All of those movies were great. Jackie Chan has been, I love Jackie Chan movies. He was one of the first, of these kind of great kung fu masters who would let himself get beat up, and it felt more real. It felt oh man, he's getting beat up. And then, then he crossed over when I remember when they brought he was already an international superstar, and then they brought his movies over to the United States and re-released them as new movies. And we were whoa, this is great. And then he started making new movies, and he's still making movies. The dude's 100 years old, and he's still doing his own stunts and making movies. So it's shut up, man. I don't want to hear it. And it's just me. I don't want to hear it. Okay? There is no Asian hate. When you see all Asians in a movie, there is nothing where we're ugh, I don't want to watch this because these people are Asian. No one I know thinks like that. And I think that this Twitter woke bullshit is just trying to play that up to make it out so they can have something to play up and talk about. Yes. Are there people out there that hate people? Yes. Okay. But when I see that, I go, what are you talking about? I know more people that love anything that comes out of, man, Korean movies are some of the best movies ever made. And, and I wish that there wasn't the language barrier, and that's what stops us. Okay. That's what stops us. It stops us because I don't like reading my movies. I hate reading my movies, but that ain't got nothing to do with them being Asian. I just hate reading movies. There's great German movies. There's great Italian movies. There's great the Spanish TV cinema that's coming out right now. It's great stuff, but then you got to listen to the dub and you have to read. And I don't like doing that, but it don't take away from the greatness of the product. I mean, all those Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What's the one about the knives? I mean, the movies are beautiful. They're shot great. The action is great. And it's just and then part of it is, so, all right, let me play devil's advocate to myself. I can understand, would we just watch a regular movie like The Notebook and it's starring all Asian people? To me, what would only stop me, like I said, is the language barrier. But in terms of the story, I just don't care. Now, what I'm trying to say is, it does kind of suck that when I'm talking about this, that kung fu element has to be there for me. It don't have to be there, but I recognize that the ones I'm talking about, it's always that. There's something about that. It's like I romanticize it. I love it. There's nothing better than like, you know, it's a dude whose family gets killed and he has to avenge his family. So he goes and trains with the master, and then he like learns this thing. He comes back, he avenges his family. Like a lot of that. A lot of the movies on Black Belt Theater were just that. And then like during the final fight scene, they always flash back to the training. So like, let's say like he was practicing to hit a log, because they always show this. They're hitting a log. And he's like hitting a log. And then like in the training, when he finally gets it, he like hits the log and the log shatters. And then when it's time to like, you know, during the final fight scene, he hits the person in the chest. And then they flash back to the log shattering. And then you know, oh, his insides just shattered. And you're like, yes, he did it. And it's like a lot of movies are like that. But also underneath that, with the kung fu, it's a lot about love and honor and respect. Like the Asian cultures that they show in these movies from the different, you know, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, it's always about honor and doing what's right. It's always about like honoring your father and mother and like taking care of your family and those concepts. I love all of that. And I could care less that the last thing me personally, Erik Griffin, is looking at is even caring about, oh, is it all Asian? Oh man, this is all Asian. I don't know who wants to see this. And I tell you why too, because I'm a person of color. I've always had to look at all white shit my whole life. When I was a kid, it was like, you know, it's like, oh, we have to look at, you know, and you just go, okay, well, we got to enjoy it. So if I want to look at entertainment, this is what I have to look at. So when I see something else, I'm kind of like, oh, cool, this is good. And that's how it always was when I was a kid. You know, it's like listen, there's garbage of everything, guys. I see in the chat, they go, I've seen some garbage Asian stuff. Yeah, there's garbage everything. There's, you know what I mean? Every race, culture, every Hollywood studio has put out a lot more garbage than anything else. But what I'm saying is the stuff that I enjoyed, the stuff that I look back and go, this was fantastic. This is, you know, I never thought to myself it was because they were Asian or anything like that. Like the race part of it never entered my mind. It always was about the art of it. It always was about like what's happening on the screen and what's happening between these characters. But that's just me. So I'm triggered. So when I hear this nonsense, you know, to me it's nonsense because it's just me, my perspective. Yes, I know there are people out there that hate. There are some ignorant ass fools out there. I know this, okay? But I think society, the Twitter woke media, they like to play things up. That's to play things up for the sake of playing it up. Because who are you helping? Who are you helping? But they were talking about banning this, like they were going to boycott this movie because of cultural appropriation and all this kind of stuff. Where I just go, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? What do you want? What do you want? You know, people think that like you should just put something out. Like they want all these things to be in line and they think that's entertaining. That's the funny thing too. Like y'all dummies have forgotten entertainment is the most important part about this. Do people need to be entertained? People have to think like they have to suspend their disbelief and enjoy what they're watching. That doesn't mean that you have like and now we have to like make sure every single person is the right race. And we have to make sure it's like when you're doing all that stuff, to me, you are taking away from the art. You're taking away from like, it's like it's like an actor, like you have to be, you know, you have to be whatever the thing you're playing, you have to be that thing. So I can't pretend to be a plumber now. You know, we should hire a real plumber to be an actor. Because, you know, what about all the plumbers you're taking away from and all that, you know, that kind of like dumb sentiment. And it's like, I get it. I get one side of it. And at the same time, I'm like, yo, man, do you know what the hell acting is? This is all pretend. We're pretending to do things, you know, and we're trying to portray it. That's the art. The art is being something that you're not. That's the whole art. That is acting. That is acting. All right, I'm getting worked up. So enough. Anyways, so, you know, Let me remember. I'm still doing all this by myself, so let me get my. Oh shit! Come on, what's going on here, man? I can never find. Here it is. It's like I can never find anything when it's time to when it's time to get out of here, But again, Wiggy will be back when he's on vacation with his family, so he went to go visit his parents. So, but he'll be back. But anyways, all right, guys. Whew. That's another episode of Riffin with Griffin. Thanks for being here. We did it live. I should probably have a schedule when I do live episodes, but it doesn't matter. You guys are going to come or you're not going to come. I want to thank everybody for the super chats today. That was really fantastic. I really appreciate that. Let me go to the viewer activity. Thanks for all those people. Oh, I can't see it now. It's not there. But anyways, thanks for that. Make sure you check out my schedule. On ericgriffin.com. If you want to see me, I am coming to a city near you very soon. Coming to a city near you. I'm at Denver this weekend, 9th through the 11th. I'm going to be in Boston, 23rd to the 25th. Addison Improv, 1st to the 3rd. So check out ericgriffin.com for the links to the tickets right there. So I appreciate you guys that want to come watch me live. And thanks for being here every week. If you're new, please subscribe, share, do all that great stuff for me. And, this has been Riffin with Griffin, man. Riffin with Griffin, Woo, 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 woo. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next week. Riffin, Griffin,